So I posted a video on intake modifications and I decided to change my mind. Alright guys, so do you remember when I told you that we had a lot of snow, but then I said I'm just kidding, it's really not a lot? Well, this time I'm not kidding. There's a ton of snow on the ground right now. So I posted a video on intake modifications and I decided to change my mind. So I have some explaining to do. So in that last video, guys, I told you that I was not going to be removing the original factory induction system or modifying it for the front grille. So a few of the guys have been telling me the induction noises are a lot better. It's actually not so bad as far as, like, you know, getting snow and stuff in there because of how far back it actually sits on the grill. It doesn't sit directly in front, and a lot of everything kind of just falls straight down and doesn't go straight into the engine, which is a good thing, obviously. So I did a little bit more research on it, and you know what I've come to find is that there are a lot of different aftermarket options for the original intake system in the front, the airflow. So I think Revo has a part that's like 350 bucks. I think Unitronic also has a part that goes along with their intake system, but you could also use in the stock system, and it's also like 300 somewhat bucks. And when I looked at the design, it had the front completely wide open. So today we're going to cut that off of my GTI, see if there's any differences in the induction noises, and hopefully there are, because I kind of miss a lot of that swooshiness. I've lost quite a bit of it from when I had my original engine intake. That's always going to be a little bit louder, but I do think that modifying this is going to give me just a tad more induction noise, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. Check out all of this snow, and my car is super filthy right now, so bad, so don't judge me. Let's open her up. Dry under here. So what we're going to be pretty much removing is these two bolts here, 1, 2. That's going to allow me to bring this entire piece out, so that way we can modify it. I also believe I have to take this hose out of here, so let's do that first. Actually, there we go, that's out of there. So we're going to remove these two bolts. Let me just go get a T25, I believe, and then we'll come back. So just to make it easy on myself, I've got my handy dandy drill. 1, 2, we're going to set these up here so that way I don't lose them, and then this thing should just kind of wiggle out of place. I actually might need to take the intake off. This might be harder than I thought. Alright, so I was wrong. All you have to do is kind of push down on this so you can get it off this sort of, come on, focus, off this little clip over here. I'll do the same with this one. Just push down and pull up. There you go. This thing should slide back. This should slide back. And then I should be able to take this off. Let's see. So what we're looking at really is this induction system. The one on the left hand side is completely open, you can see right through it. The one on the right hand side is completely closed on this side. So what we need to do is we need to go in here and cut that open. And I'm going to use a grinder, the same grinder I used on my shifter project, to kind of cut this open. Now I might need to take this cap off, so that's what we're going to do next. We're going to remove these two screws, one here and one here, and we'll come back. So here's how this thing is going to go down. We're going to use one of these, a grinder tool. I'm going to go in here and try to cut this open right along the back here. Actually, it might even be easier to do it on the front, and I never needed to do that thing anyway. So maybe I could just go right in here, cut, 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 cut. Nah, from the inside it's definitely going to be easier. So let's get to that. Alright, so what I've been doing here is pretty much just taking the cutting wheel, going straight across the front here, cutting as far back as I can. As you can see, this big line here. I'm going to do the same thing, follow this line on the other side. And then what we'll do is you'll come back with a blade and just kind of tighten everything up. But this should allow me to open up the entire intake system, which is going to be nice. Now, I know I told you guys not to do this, so yeah, don't listen to me from now. Check this out. This car was made in Mexico. I hope it's as good as the Germans say. Let's line this up and keep cutting away. So I think I've cut enough out that I can kind of come back with the blade and trim out the rest of these pieces. So hopefully this works out. Alright, so now that we cut the whole thing, right through, I'm pretty much just kind of like leveling this thing out so that way there's no like sharp edges or anything like that. So kind of smoothing the whole thing out, because obviously airflow is key, and in order for airflow to move correctly, it needs to have a smooth surface to run on. So I'm going through every corner over here trying to make it as smooth as possible. But we've opened up the front now, guys. We should have a little bit more induction noise coming through the car. So yeah, this is pretty much what it looks like. It's open now, this entire side, where it looks like this one here. So this should allow the air to run from here through here, so it'll run straight across and into the intake system. I got shavings everywhere. I should have probably done this somewhere else, but whatever. And guys, what do you think of the Stack Plus hoodie? Looking fresh, doing car work in it. I probably shouldn't be, but whatever. Alright, so now that we're all done here, let me try to brush off all this stuff and get this intake back where it's supposed to go. There's so much plastic shavings everywhere. Alright, so now the theory here is that this opening here will be somewhat covered by the hood when it comes down to here. So not enough gets in there. Most of the rain and anything like that goes right directly into here, into where the intercooler area is. So it shouldn't really affect it that much, but I'd like to see what kind of somewhat performance gains I gain. Well, not performance, but just sound wise, because I know that's not really going to increase much. Got the JB4 up here. I finally figured out how to lock this thing. If you guys are having an issue with locking this after installing the Bluetooth, let me know, because then I'll make a video on it. I just got the instructions for George, because, you know, I obviously don't know how to read, and it's probably somewhere online. So yeah, let's close this up. Let's get the GoPro out, and let's go out for a drive. You've been forewarned that this may sound a little bit different. Voice is definitely going to be different. Alright, let's go for a drive. See if this makes a difference at all. You still got a ton of snow on the ground. Hey, you guys wanted some drift footage, right? See if we can catch a couple snow drifts here. Let's turn off the ECS. So guys, so I finally did the ECS delete on this, the ECS off on the OBD11 thing. So I always had it in sport, and I always realized that I had an issue when I was trying to launch the car, and that was it. So I finally did that on OBD11. I did a couple other things. If you guys want to walk through what all my OBD11 things are, I can definitely get that out for you guys. But for now, I mean, the car's been driving great through the winter. It did good in the snow. It wasn't too bad. Obviously, a lot of, you know, what happens is due to counter steer. But all right, so we're pulling up on a main road here. Hopefully there's some intake noises. do hear a little bit more induction. Tell you the truth, there's really not that much. Man, all the snow is gone. I can't even try to pull some snow drifts. Let me see, I can maybe clutch kick it a little bit here. There we go, we got a good one in there. There used to be so much like slush on every corner that I was like, it was fun to just like clutch kick it and like, no, I can't even try to. It's a little too dry. I do promise you guys, I'm sorry that I have not gotten any like snow drifting footage in the GTI, but we still have a lot more snowstorms here in New York that are going to happen, so we're gonna get that for you, not a problem at all. So I do hear a little bit more induction noise, not a lot. All right, so let's pull back up into my driveway. I actually need to shovel that stuff out of the way because that is no good for me. I feel like I'm doing a maze every single time I come up here. Well, now that that's all done, it's pretty much time to end the video. I do think the modification is okay. You can definitely cut that open. It doesn't look like much can get in there because the hood is slanted in the front. It doesn't look like much can get in there. So if you guys want to do this, you want a little bit more induction noise than it is without it, I would just go for it. If you don't want to do it, then that's fine too. Who cares? It's your car. You can break it. You do whatever you want to it. See you in the next one, guys. Peace out.
Ladies and gentlemen.